The education landscape in West Virginia has been pretty dim. It's a rigid system. Children are assigned to their school district based on their zip code. The Hope Scholarship is a rising tide that will lift all ships in West Virginia when it comes to education. And it means that you as a parent can opt in to the Hope Scholarship, receive your tax dollars back, which is $4,600 per student, to put your child through the educational pathway that you see is best suited for them.
Is this when she cut her bangs?
No, it's that one.
Oh, it is
That's
that
why
one?
her hair's right here. She cut her own hair.
Yeah, they're a fun crew. So we have 5 children. Our oldest, Benson, is a junior in high school. He plays baseball for high school. He wrestles there as well. Reagan is a freshman in high school. She plays soccer, and she's also on the dance team. Brooklyn is in middle school, and she is our drama girl. Our youngest, Reese, is in kindergarten. She loves dance. She's in a hip hop and a ballet class right now. And then there's McKinley, who goes by Mac, and she would be in 4th grade right now. She's repeating 3rd grade. McKinley, from a really early age, was pretty nonverbal. All of our kids participated in a preschool program in Northern Virginia where they would be kind of like a mentor to other special needs students. And McKinley started in that program. And a month or 2 into the program, they said, actually, McKinley's not progressing. And so she had to leave the program because we realized she had special needs herself. She quickly realized that she was nowhere near where her peers were at. And you could tell that she realized that. And so McKinley, who had been very, very independent, very confident, was kind of a brash, fun-loving girl, her self-esteem just tanked. Eventually, after a series of speech therapists and other things, it took a long time to finally figure out that she had dyslexia and dysgraphia, as well as pretty severe ADHD.
I always thought once we get a diagnosis, then it'll all be fixed. We'll just get her IEP in the school system and they'll fix it. They have helpers there and it'll be fine. It was during 1st grade that I said, this is not working. Like, she has every option available in the school system and we're still not scratching the surface.
By week 2 was already saying she hated school, she didn't want to go. So every morning to get her ready for school was a struggle. She would just throw huge tantrums. She didn't want to go. Even when we would go to drop her off or take her into the school, she would run out of the school. She just literally didn't want to be in the building. And she would plead with us, why do I have to go? Why can't I just go ride my bike? Why can't I do anything else? So we ended up putting her in therapy just because it was so difficult in our house with her at that time. Everything was a fight, everything was a struggle. And she would just say things like, I'm just stupid. And it was really heart-wrenching for us.
I'm a very big believer in public school. And I think education is more than just academics. I think what you learn from your peers who come from very different backgrounds than you completely shapes the way that you see the world. I wanted public school to work. I wanted it to work for her, and we tried very hard. And the public school that we used was amazing, and they did absolutely everything that they could to help Mac, but they are just restricted. There's certain things they cannot give her that they could not do, and it was just not working for her. One of the most heartbreaking things for me when we would talk with McKinley's old public school, sometimes they would say to me, she's not scoring the lowest in the class. And for one, that had nothing to do with my kid. But for 2, it just broke my heart because I knew that meant those kids probably hadn't been evaluated by somebody that could help them with their learning disabilities. Learning disabilities, there's a much higher percentage than we actually think, and most of them are never diagnosed, therefore never treated. It just was not working, and it was heartbreaking, and it was heart-wrenching to hear Matt come home from school and say the things that she would say.
I became aware of the effort to pass the Hope Scholarship even when we were in Northern Virginia. We paid close attention to what's happening in West Virginia, and I was excited to see when it passed. I have a belief that educational freedom is a benefit to families. West Virginia's educational system has struggled in a lot of ways, and from my perspective, having the ability to pick the school that works best for a student, works best for their family, makes a lot of sense. By the end of her second grade year was when we were contemplating moving to West Virginia for a variety of reasons. And so moving here, a big question was what we would do with Mac for school. In the summer of 2022, I drove an hour to Marshall University every day to take her for 1 hour of dyslexia tutoring. Then we'd drive the hour back. She wasn't thrilled to be finished with school and then driving across town to go have another hour of tutoring. That was just difficult for her. So again, we started to see that kind of slide in her self-esteem.
So a childhood friend has a son who went to this school, the Montessori school that we chose, and he has some learning differences as well that she was telling me about. And the big thing for us is when she said they had a full-time, everyday staff member who did the specific training that we were driving an hour to every day to get for Mac. That's when we really said, okay, we should go and look. She has an independence, but it allows her to feel like she's not the outsider. Because if there's a part that she needs more time on, she can do that without the whole class having to wait for her. So it makes her feel more included.
McKinley has developed a lot in her Montessori school in terms of life skills and just focusing on how to do things. Her confidence really manifests itself in a lot of ways, but the biggest thing to me is just that she's happy. The biggest change is not necessarily in how she talks about school, it's how she talks about reading. For a long time, she would refuse to read. She enjoys reading and she asks for opportunities to practice that, to develop that. Even ordering at the restaurant, our other kids hate to do that. Mac will absolutely jump. We're in the car and say, can I be the one to order? She wants me to pull ahead and roll down her window in the back so she can be the one ordering there. She just loves those, being able to do day-to-day things.
How can I help you? Can I have one Happy Meal with a hamburger, just ketchup and pickles? What kind of Happy Meal? A hamburger with ketchup and pickles.
When she was in this pre-K program for special needs students, even though she was not very verbal, she was the #1 helper to another child in the class who also could not speak. He used a walker, couldn't get around, and her preschool teacher would tell us all the time, she could just see every morning, Mac would go and give him a hug. She stayed by him. She helped him in every way she could. And I think Mac, maybe because she has struggled so much, can recognize others who are struggling. And so I'm confident that she has the social and emotional skills she needs to succeed in life. And now for her to be able to at least read a menu, to be able to read traffic signs, and hopefully beyond, I believe she'll do great in life.
If the Hope Scholarship allows more people to have access to alternative learning environments, which a lot of these kids need, then absolutely it's better. And so my initial thoughts on the Hope Scholarship were, if there's extra money, why would you send it to private schools? That needs to stay in the public school system where they still need a lot of help. My view has changed in the sense that at this stage, public schools, they can't offer alternative learning environments for kids that need it.
For me, the Hope Scholarship is about freedom for our family and specifically meeting the specific needs of our children. For Mac to have the support of the state to put her in this private school really means a lot. That's a community that we feel a part of. I feel invested now in how other schools are using Hope and how other schools are succeeding. This was a monumental accomplishment in West Virginia, and Americans for Prosperity played this central role, and it's really remarkable to see the vision that went into that. I think their dedication really was the key to getting it passed.